Let's begin with something simple yet powerful. You are in control of your emotions. No matter what has happened or how deeply you've been affected by someone, you have the power to heal, let go, and move forward. Emotional detachment isn't about becoming cold or shutting yourself off from love. It's about creating space for your well-being, peace, and personal growth. Here are 5 powerful steps to help you emotionally detach from someone and reconnect with your inner peace. Acknowledging your feelings is a fundamental step in emotional healing and personal growth. It's often easier to suppress, ignore, or distract ourselves from difficult emotions, especially when they are connected to someone we care about. However, this avoidance only prolongs the healing process. Truly acknowledging your feelings means allowing yourself to experience them fully without resistance or judgment so that you can move through them and eventually release them. It's an act of self-awareness and self-compassion that paves the way for deeper healing and emotional resilience. To begin with, understanding that your feelings are valid is crucial. Every emotion you experience, whether it's joy, sorrow, anger, or confusion, arises for a reason. They are not arbitrary. They reflect the ways in which your mind and heart are processing your current reality. When you allow yourself to feel these emotions, you are giving your inner self permission to be honest and authentic. Suppressing or denying what you feel can create an inner dissonance, leading to even greater emotional turmoil in the long run. It can also manifest physically with stress, tension, and anxiety accumulating in the body. The first step to healing, then, is simply recognizing that what you are feeling is real and that it deserves your attention. Acknowledging your feelings is not a sign of weakness, as some might fear. In fact, it takes incredible strength and courage to confront your emotions head-on. It can be uncomfortable, even painful, to sit with emotions like sadness, anger, or regret, especially when they are linked to someone we love or have lost. Yet, avoiding these emotions does not make them disappear. They remain within you, festering, growing heavier with time, until they demand to be addressed. In contrast, by consciously choosing to acknowledge your feelings, you begin the process of release. You give yourself the opportunity to process them fully, rather than allowing them to control your actions and thoughts from beneath the surface. When we acknowledge our feelings, we also learn about ourselves in the process. Our emotions serve as a mirror, reflecting our values, needs, and desires. They reveal to us where we have been hurt, what we fear, and what we long for. By allowing ourselves to feel deeply, we gain insights into our inner world. Perhaps anger shows us where our boundaries have been crossed, or sadness reflects the loss of something precious. These insights are essential for growth as they guide us in making better decisions, setting healthier boundaries, and cultivating a deeper sense of self-love. Another important aspect of acknowledging your feelings is doing so without judgment. Often we criticize ourselves for feeling a certain way. We might think, I shouldn't feel this angry, or why am I still sad about this? But judging your emotions only adds another layer of resistance and pain. You may not be able to control your initial emotional response, but you can control how you react to it. Instead of pushing it away or criticizing yourself, allow the feeling to exist. You might say to yourself, this is how I feel right now, and that's okay. When you do this, you create space for self-compassion. You treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer a friend going through a difficult time. It's also important to remember that emotions are not permanent. They come and go like waves in the ocean. Sometimes they may feel overwhelming, but just like waves, they eventually recede. When you acknowledge your feelings, you are not giving them the power to define you or your future. You are simply allowing them to pass through you. In doing so, you prevent them from becoming trapped or unresolved, which can lead to emotional stagnation or resentment. By letting your emotions flow naturally, you free yourself from their grip more quickly and gently than if you were to resist them. It is helpful to create a space for your emotions to be fully expressed. This can be done through journaling, meditation, or simply taking time in a quiet space to reflect. Writing down your feelings can be particularly effective, as it externalizes your inner experience, making it feel more tangible and manageable. You might write, I feel angry because, or I am sad about. This practice helps you clarify what you are feeling and why, which is a critical step toward healing. If journaling isn't your preferred method, simply sitting with your feelings, breathing deeply, and allowing them to surface can also be incredibly therapeutic. At its core, acknowledging your feelings is an act of self-love. You are telling yourself that your emotional experiences matter and that you are worthy of healing. You are taking responsibility for your own well-being, which is empowering. While the process of acknowledging difficult emotions can be uncomfortable, it ultimately strengthens your emotional resilience and helps you build a deeper relationship with yourself. Over time, this practice allows you to move forward with greater clarity, peace, and compassion for both yourself and others. By acknowledging your feelings, you open the door to healing and growth. You give yourself the freedom to experience life fully without being weighed down by unresolved emotions. It is through this process that you learn to let go of what no longer serves you and make space for new opportunities, love, and joy to enter your life. Setting healthy boundaries is one of the most empowering steps you can take in preserving your emotional well-being. It is an act of self-respect and self-care that allows you to protect your energy, mental health, and sense of peace. When you set boundaries, you are essentially drawing a line that separates what is acceptable for you and what is not, both in your relationships with others and in how you treat yourself. Boundaries are not about creating distance for the sake of separation, but about maintaining your own sense of balance and harmony in a world that often pulls you in many directions. Establishing boundaries starts with recognizing your own needs and limitations. This is not always easy because many of us have been conditioned to prioritize the needs of others over our own. We may feel guilty or selfish for saying no. Or we may fear that setting limits will lead to rejection or conflict. However, it's important to understand that boundaries are not about being selfish. They are about self-preservation. If you constantly give without considering your own needs, you risk depleting yourself emotionally, mentally, and physically. Setting boundaries allows you to engage with others from a place of wholeness and strength rather than from a state of exhaustion or resentment. One of the key aspects of setting boundaries is learning to communicate them clearly and respectfully. Often we assume that others should just know what our boundaries are, but this is rarely the case. People may unintentionally overstep because they are unaware of your limits. It's your responsibility to articulate your boundaries in a way that is firm yet compassionate. For example, if someone is consistently asking for your time and energy in a way that feels overwhelming, you can kindly say, "I'm unable to help with this right now, but I appreciate you asking." You're not rejecting the person, you're simply honoring your own capacity at that moment. Boundaries also help define the kinds of relationships you want to cultivate. When you set boundaries, you attract people who respect and value you, while those who are unwilling to respect your limits naturally distance themselves. This is an important filtering process. Healthy relationships thrive on mutual respect and understanding, and boundaries create the framework for these qualities to flourish. In contrast, relationships without boundaries can become toxic, draining, and even manipulative. By setting boundaries, you ensure that you are surrounded by people who uplift and support you, rather than those who take advantage of your kindness or generosity. Setting healthy boundaries isn't just about limiting how others treat you, it's also about how you treat yourself. Self-boundaries are just as important as interpersonal ones. These include things like managing your time effectively, committing to self-care practices, and not overcommitting to obligations that lead to burnout. For instance, you might set a boundary with yourself around how much time you spend on work, social media, or with certain people. This is especially relevant when you are emotionally detaching from someone. You may need to limit contact with that person or give yourself the space to heal without reopening emotional wounds. A common challenge with boundaries is the fear of how others will react. Some people may be uncomfortable or even resistant to the boundaries you set, particularly if they are used to benefiting from your lack of limits. This is why it's important to stay firm and consistent. Boundaries are not about controlling others, they are about controlling how you allow yourself to be treated. If someone reacts negatively to your boundary, it is a reflection of their discomfort with your self-empowerment, not a sign that you are doing something wrong. In fact, the people who truly care about you will respect your boundaries and may even be inspired to set their own. Another vital part of setting boundaries is recognizing when they need to be reinforced or adjusted. As you grow and evolve, so do your needs and limitations. A boundary that served you in the past may no longer be necessary, or you may find that you need to set new boundaries in areas of your life where you previously hadn't. Regularly check in with yourself to assess whether your current boundaries are serving you well. If you notice that you are feeling overwhelmed, resentful, or emotionally drained, it may be a sign that your boundaries need to be reinforced or redefined. Boundaries are also a form of teaching others how to treat you. When you set and maintain healthy boundaries, you are communicating that you value yourself and your well-being. You are showing others that you have standards for how you wish to be treated, and this creates a blueprint for your interactions. Over time, those around you will come to understand and respect these guidelines, and this can lead to deeper, more meaningful connections based on mutual respect. Ultimately, setting healthy boundaries is about reclaiming your power. It's about taking ownership of your life and refusing to allow others to dictate how you should feel or behave. It's a declaration of self-worth, a way of saying, I matter, and my needs are important. When you set boundaries, you create a space where you can thrive emotionally, mentally, and physically. You give yourself the gift of peace, clarity, and freedom from the expectations, demands, and pressures that can otherwise weigh you down. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They are bridges to deeper, healthier relationships with both yourself and others. Releasing the need for control is an essential practice in cultivating inner peace and emotional well-being. Many of us, often unconsciously, try to control various aspects of our lives, especially when it comes to relationships, work, or situations that matter deeply to us. We hold on tightly, trying to direct outcomes and shape circumstances to fit our expectations. While the desire for control is natural, rooted in our need for security and certainty, it often leads to frustration, anxiety, and emotional exhaustion when things don't go as planned. Learning to release the need for control is not about giving up, but rather about trusting the process of life and allowing things to unfold in their own time and way. When we attempt to control situations or people, we are essentially operating from a place of fear. We fear that if we don't intervene, things will spiral out of control, or that the outcome will not align with our desires. This fear-driven control can manifest in many ways: micromanaging others, obsessing over details, trying to manipulate situations to fit a specific narrative, or even internalizing stress about things that are completely outside of our influence. While these behaviors might give us a temporary sense of control, they rarely lead to lasting peace. Instead, they create tension within ourselves and in our relationships, as the more we try to control, the more we become entangled in the complexities of life. One of the key realizations in releasing the need for control is understanding that, in reality, there is very little that we can control. We cannot control how others feel, think, or act. We cannot control the events or circumstances that arise in our lives, no matter how much we plan or prepare. What we can control, however, is our response to these situations. This is where our true power lies, not in trying to manipulate external factors, but in cultivating a mindset of acceptance, resilience, and trust. By releasing control, we create space for more ease and flow in our lives, allowing us to handle challenges with grace rather than resistance. Letting go of control requires a shift in perspective. Instead of viewing uncertainty as something to be feared, we can begin to see it as an inherent part of life's journey. Life is full of unknowns, and this unpredictability can be both beautiful and liberating. Release control in relationships, we allow space for true connection, understanding, and authenticity to blossom. We can accept others for who they are, rather than trying to mold them into who we think they should be. Practicing mindfulness is one way to help release the need for control. Mindfulness encourages us to be present in the moment without judgment, simply observing our thoughts, feelings, and reactions as they arise. This practice helps us become aware of when we are trying to control a situation and allows us to take a step back, breathe, and let go. Mindfulness teaches us that it's okay to let things unfold without our constant intervention, and it helps us trust that we can handle whatever comes our way. Releasing control also involves embracing vulnerability. It requires us to admit that we don't have all the answers, and that's perfectly okay. Vulnerability is not a weakness, it's an openness to the unknown, a willingness to allow life to surprise us. When we embrace vulnerability, we stop holding on so tightly to the need for certainty and instead develop trust in ourselves and in life's journey. This is where real freedom lies when we release the need for control. We also release the pressure, anxiety, and fear that come with it. We allow ourselves to move forward with confidence, knowing that we are capable of navigating whatever life brings without needing to manipulate every detail along the way. Ultimately, releasing the need for control is about cultivating a sense of inner peace and freedom. It's about trusting in the flow of life, accepting uncertainty, and embracing the unknown with grace. By letting go, we gain more than we lose. What we gain is a deeper sense of trust in ourselves, in others, and in the natural unfolding of life's journey. Practicing self-compassion is one of the most transformative and healing actions you can take for your emotional well-being. In a world that often emphasizes productivity, achievement, and comparison, it's easy to fall into the habit of being overly critical of yourself. You may judge yourself harshly for mistakes, shortcomings, or perceived failures, but self-compassion invites you to treat yourself with the same kindness, understanding, and support that you would offer to a dear friend. At its core, self-compassion is about acknowledging your humanity. It's recognizing that everyone makes mistakes, faces difficulties, and experiences pain. Instead of beating yourself up when things don't go as planned, self-compassion encourages you to extend empathy and understanding to yourself. It's a practice of softening the inner dialogue, shifting from a critical, judgmental voice to one that is nurturing and forgiving. This doesn't mean ignoring your flaws or pretending everything is fine when it isn't. Rather, it means accepting yourself as you are, with all your imperfections, and treating yourself with gentleness. One of the most important elements of self-compassion is mindfulness. Mindfulness involves being present with your emotions and experiences without getting swept away by them. When you practice mindfulness, you can observe your thoughts and feelings without judgment, allowing yourself to feel what you're feeling without adding layers of criticism or negativity. For example, if you're feeling sad or disappointed, mindfulness helps you acknowledge those emotions without telling yourself that you shouldn't feel that way or that you're weak for feeling them. It creates space for acceptance, which is the first step toward healing. Self-compassion also involves recognizing that pain and struggle are part of the shared human experience. Often, when we're going through a difficult time, we feel isolated or alone in our suffering, as though no one else could possibly understand what we're going through. However, self-compassion reminds us that everyone experiences challenges. It's not about comparing your pain to others or diminishing what you're going through. It's about realizing that struggle is a universal aspect of life. When you understand that you're not alone in your difficulties, it becomes easier to extend compassion to yourself. You're not defective or broken. Because you're having a hard time, you're simply human. Another key aspect of self-compassion is self-kindness. This involves actively offering yourself comfort, support, and encouragement when you're struggling, rather than being harsh or self-critical. Many of us have an inner critic that's quick to point out our flaws or remind us of our mistakes. This critical voice can be relentless, fueling feelings of shame or inadequacy. Self-kindness is about responding to that inner critic with a gentle, compassionate voice. It's the ability to say to yourself, "I'm doing the best I can," or "It's okay to make mistakes, I'm still learning." By being kind to yourself, you soothe the emotional pain caused by harsh self-judgment and allow yourself to heal. Self-compassion is not the same as self-pity or self-indulgence. Some people worry that if they are too compassionate toward themselves, they will become lazy or stop striving for improvement. But self-compassion is not about letting yourself off the hook or avoiding accountability. It's about recognizing that growth and change come from a place of understanding and support, not from harsh criticism or punishment. When you practice self-compassion, you're more likely to take responsibility for your actions and make positive changes, not because you're trying to avoid shame, but because you genuinely care about your well-being. Practicing self-compassion can be particularly helpful when you're going through a difficult or emotional time, such as detaching from someone or navigating a challenging relationship. In these moments, it's easy to fall into a cycle of self-blame, wondering what you could have done differently or criticizing yourself for feeling hurt. But self-compassion encourages you to approach these emotions with understanding. Instead of blaming yourself, you can acknowledge the pain and offer yourself the kindness you need to move through it. It's about giving yourself permission to grieve, to heal, and to grow without rushing the process or diminishing your feelings. One practical way to cultivate self-compassion is through self-care. Self-care involves taking actions that support your physical, emotional, and mental well-being. This can be as simple as making time for rest, engaging in activities that bring you joy, or seeking support from loved ones or a therapist. Self-care is a way of honoring your needs and acknowledging that you deserve care and attention, especially during challenging times. It's a way of reinforcing the message that you are worthy of love and kindness, both from others and from yourself. Another important practice in cultivating self-compassion is reframing negative self-talk. When you catch yourself thinking harsh or critical thoughts, take a moment to pause and question those thoughts. Ask yourself if you would say the same thing to a friend who was going through a similar situation. Often you'll find that you would be much kinder to someone else than you are to yourself. By shifting your perspective and treating yourself with the same kindness you would offer others, you can begin to break the habit of self-criticism and replace it with self-compassion. Ultimately, self-compassion is about embracing yourself with love and kindness, even in moments of struggle or imperfection. It's about understanding that you are worthy of compassion just as you are. When you practice self-compassion, you create a foundation of inner strength and resilience that allows you to navigate life's challenges with greater ease and grace. You become your own source of support, your own advocate, and your own best friend. This is not only healing but also empowering, as it frees you from the need for external validation and allows you to cultivate a deeper sense of self-worth. Focusing on personal growth is one of the most empowering journeys you can undertake. It's the process of continually improving yourself, expanding your understanding of the world, and evolving into the best version of who you are. Personal growth isn't about perfection, but rather it's about progress, making conscious choices to grow emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. This ongoing evolution brings greater fulfillment, purpose, and clarity into your life, allowing you to navigate challenges and opportunities with more confidence and resilience. At the heart of personal growth is self-awareness. Becoming more self-aware means paying attention to your thoughts, emotions, actions, and how they influence your life. It's about noticing patterns in your behavior, both the positive and the negative, so that you can make informed decisions about how to move forward. Self-awareness helps you understand what drives you, what limits you, and what makes you thrive. When you focus on personal growth, you make a commitment to look within and examine where you are in life, what you want to change, and what you need to nurture to grow. It's not always easy to face your own weaknesses or areas where you struggle, but this is where true growth happens. Acknowledging these areas with kindness rather than judgment is the first step toward change. Personal growth also requires a willingness to step outside your comfort zone. Growth doesn't happen when you stay in a place of familiarity or safety. It happens when you challenge yourself to do things that feel uncomfortable or uncertain. Whether it's learning a new skill, taking on new responsibilities, or facing difficult emotions, pushing past your limits expands your capacity for growth. When you embrace the discomfort that comes with change, you open yourself up to new experiences and opportunities that would otherwise remain out of reach. Each time you step outside your comfort zone, you build resilience, courage, and confidence in your ability to handle whatever life brings your way. An essential part of personal growth is setting clear, meaningful goals for yourself. Goals give you direction and purpose, helping you focus your energy on what truly matters to you. However, personal growth goals are different from external achievements like career success or financial gain. These goals are about becoming more of who you are meant to be, whether that means cultivating more self-love, deepening your relationships, or finding more inner peace. By setting personal growth goals, you commit to a path of continuous learning and improvement. These goals should be realistic and achievable, but also inspiring enough to keep you motivated. Tracking your progress along the way can also help you stay accountable to yourself and celebrate the small wins that move you closer to your desired outcome. In the process of focusing on personal growth, it's important to cultivate a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that you can develop your abilities and improve through effort, learning, and perseverance. People with a growth mindset see challenges as opportunities to grow rather than as threats to their competence. They understand that mistakes and failures are part of the learning process, and they don't let setbacks define their worth or potential. Adopting a growth mindset allows you to approach life with curiosity and optimism, knowing that no matter where you are, there is always room for improvement and learning. It helps you to view obstacles not as roadblocks, but as valuable lessons that can guide you toward your next step. Another key element of personal growth is letting go of limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are thoughts and assumptions that hold you back from reaching your full potential. These could be beliefs like "I'm not good enough, I'll never be successful," or "I can't change." These negative thought patterns often stem from past experiences, societal conditioning, or fear of failure. However, when you become aware of these limiting beliefs, you can challenge and replace them with more empowering ones. Releasing these mental barriers allows you to move forward with greater freedom, courage, and self-trust. It's about reframing your perspective and choosing to believe in your ability to grow, evolve, and succeed. Personal growth is also deeply connected to self-care and self-love. As you grow, it's important to take care of your well-being physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Growth can be challenging and sometimes exhausting, so giving yourself time to rest, reflect, and recharge is essential. Self-care is not a luxury but a necessity when you are on a journey of personal growth. It's about creating space in your life for relaxation, reflection, and renewal so you can continue to grow without burning out. Nurturing your mind, body, and soul helps you stay balanced and focused on your path. Finally, personal growth is an ongoing process. It doesn't have an endpoint or a final destination. It's a lifelong journey that evolves as you evolve. As you grow, your goals and priorities may shift, and that's perfectly normal. The important thing is to remain open to change and to stay committed to your growth, no matter where life takes you. Celebrate the progress you make, no matter how small it may seem. Personal growth is not about perfection, but about becoming more aligned with your true self, embracing your strengths and learning from your weaknesses. It's about becoming more resilient, more compassionate, and more self-aware as you move through life. In focusing on personal growth, you unlock new levels of potential and possibility within yourself. You create a deeper connection with who you are and what you are capable of, allowing you to live a more fulfilling, purposeful, and authentic life. By continuously striving to grow, learn, and evolve, you become the architect of your own happiness and success. Reclaiming your power is an act of taking control of your life and recognizing that you have the ability to shape your own destiny. It's about realizing that no matter what has happened to you, no matter how much pain or struggle you've experienced, you are not a victim of your circumstances. You are not powerless. In fact, your power comes from within. And reclaiming it is a process of rediscovering your inner strength, courage, and resilience. It's about stepping into the fullness of who you are, letting go of what no longer serves you, and embracing your ability to create positive change in your life. One of the first steps in reclaiming your power is understanding that you have a choice in how you respond to life's challenges. While you cannot always control external events or other people's actions, you can control how you interpret and react to them. You have the power to choose how you think, how you feel, and how you act. This realization can be incredibly liberating because it means that you are not at the mercy of life's ups and downs. You are in charge of your own emotional and mental state. When you choose to see yourself as capable, resourceful, and resilient, you begin to take back control of your life. To reclaim your power, you must also let go of the past. Often we carry around wounds from past experiences, whether it's a relationship that hurt us, a failure that shattered our confidence, or a betrayal that made us question our worth. These painful memories can leave us feeling powerless, as though our lives are being dictated by the things that have already happened. But the truth is, the past does not define you. It may have shaped who you are today, but it does not have to control your future. Reclaiming your power means releasing the grip of the past and allowing yourself to heal. It means forgiving yourself and others, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. When you free yourself from the chains of the past, you open up space for new possibilities and growth. Another important aspect of reclaiming your power is setting boundaries. Often people feel powerless because they allow others to overstep their limits, whether it's in relationships, at work, or in social situations. Reclaiming your power means recognizing that your needs, desires, and feelings are valid, and that you have the right to protect your energy and well-being. Boundaries are not about shutting people out or being defensive. They are about honoring yourself and creating a space where you can thrive. When you set healthy boundaries, you take back control of your life and ensure that your relationships are balanced and respectful. Reclaiming your power also involves cultivating self-trust. Many people feel powerless because they doubt their own abilities or instincts. They rely on others for validation, approval, or decision-making, and in doing so, they give away their power. But the truth is, you are the expert on your own life. You know what's best for you, even if it doesn't always feel that way. Reclaiming your power means learning to trust yourself again, to listen to your inner voice, to follow your intuition, and to believe in your ability to make the right choices. This trust is built over time through small acts of self-affirmation and courage. Each time you honor your instincts, you reinforce the belief that you are capable and powerful. In addition, reclaiming your power requires releasing the need for external validation. Society often teaches us to seek approval from others, to look for affirmation in our achievements, appearance, or relationships. But when you depend on external validation for your sense of worth, you give your power away. You allow others to determine how you feel about yourself. Reclaiming your power means finding your value from within. It's about recognizing that you are enough just as you are, without needing anyone else to confirm it. When you stop seeking validation from outside sources, you take back control of your self-worth and reclaim your autonomy. It's also crucial to embrace responsibility when reclaiming your power. This doesn't mean blaming yourself for everything that goes wrong in your life, but rather taking ownership of your actions, choices, and responses. When you take responsibility for your life, you move out of the victim mindset and into a position of empowerment. You recognize that while you cannot control everything, you can control how you respond to challenges. This shift in perspective allows you to reclaim your power by understanding that you are not helpless. You are an active participant in your life, and your decisions shape your future. Finally, reclaiming your power is about embracing your inner strength. It's about knowing that no matter what life throws at you, you have the resilience, wisdom, and courage to overcome it. You are not fragile or weak. You are capable of handling whatever comes your way. This inner strength is your greatest asset, and reclaiming your power means tapping into it whenever you face adversity. It's about trusting that you have what it takes to move through life with grace and confidence, even in the face of uncertainty. Reclaiming your power is a deeply personal and transformative process. It's about taking back control of your life, letting go of what no longer serves you, and stepping into your true potential. It's about recognizing that you are not defined by your circumstances, your past, or other people's opinions. You are defined by your choices, your beliefs, and your actions. When you reclaim your power, you become the author of your own story, and you create a life that is aligned with your highest truth and purpose.